Fresh Perspectives is brought to you by Traverse City's Hang Workshop, offering social painting classes featuring step-by-step instruction for creating trendy home decor pieces. Sign up for a class online at hangworkshop.com. Hello and welcome to Fresh Perspectives, where we talk with Northern Michigan residents who are taking familiar topics and exploring them in a fresh new way. Today's topic is connecting the community to local food. In Benzie County, nonprofit organization Grow Benzie takes that concept to a whole new level. In 2009, they started a community garden, and today that garden has grown into 4 acres full of facilities and programs nurturing healthful foods, jobs, and life skills. I'm joined today by Josh Stoltz, the Executive Director of Grow Benzie. Thank you so much for being with us today.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
Let's get started with a bit of the origin of your nonprofit organization. What drew you to creating this community resource?
So this is a classic story of community coming together with an idea and putting the boots to the ground. This was at a graduation party in Benzie, and a couple folks said we should have a community garden space here in Benzie County. And 90 days later, they had a board of directors, they had a nonprofit, and they purchased a 4-acre piece of property kind of in the heart of Benzie County, the social center of Benzie County and Benzonia.
In 90 days?
90 days. They started with the Human Services Collaborative as a kind of a place to connect with other people that would, you know, volunteer and express interest in food or gardening. And after that, they were off to the races.
That's incredible. So for someone who's never visited your community garden, how would you describe it to them?
Well, the location was ideal for a community garden because prior to us purchasing this 4-acre piece, it was a commercial nursery. And so there was 3 greenhouses, there was a giant event center that they held a farmer's market in, and then there's a studio house that the owners lived in that we now use as office space.
Perfect.
And so it was ideal for us to come in, start this community garden, and then develop the idea of it being a community hub of different activities.
Sure, and a lot of it's focused around healthful foods.
Yeah, so growing up, at least personally for me, all food was organic, all food was healthy. When we were out in the garden picking tomatoes and weeding, you know, that was just healthy food. And nowadays with a lot of the processing and different angles on mass production, some of the healthy sides of growing food have been lost. And so for us to actually have a community garden space, to have the greenhouses to grow food, we're just kind of exposing the situation that we were in years ago before the mass production came through. And so really, I think with people showing up, we have a farmer's market that people can see, you know, the farmers and what they're growing. For us, it's ideal to, you know, connect the people to the food. Absolutely.
And all of the facilities that you have on your property, they really foster that, which is incredible.
Yeah. So the energy of the space started with it being a county poor farm 100 years ago. So that entire valley that we are in used to be a farm. And you can still see the silo foundation and where the old barn used to be, and it's just a fertile valley. So the energy for the last 100 years has related to agriculture, and that's part of Benzie County.
Sure. Let's kind of walk through your property and let's highlight the different areas that are there.
Sure, yeah. So we could start in the greenhouses.
Okay.
So when those were built about 40 years ago, those were heated. And so that makes it a greenhouse because it was heated with wood. We had a boiler system and vents that heated the ground. There was a rigid glass roof to hold in the heat. And so that allowed them to grow in the off season and grow plants and vegetables. And since we purchased the property, it was it was old. We had to take the glass off. We put up a plastic tarp, a weave tarp to hold off the snow, but it's enough to hold in the heat.
Okay.
And we converted the tabletop method of growing to growing in the ground. And so we've been developing the soil over the last 5 or 6 years to make it nutrient rich and just a rich place for us to grow fruits and vegetables, a lot of tomatoes, greens, and that way we can show people, we have classes to show people how to grow. We can use that space, and it's just a great environment to show off how people can grow at home. Mm-hmm. So those are the greenhouses, and that's 15,000 square feet of space.
Whew.
Now the community gardens, we have that surrounded by deer fence that's outside, and we have probably a dozen families that come in and use that space because they can't garden at home.
Okay.
And that could be for a variety of reasons. Not enough sun, maybe they just like the community concept. And so that is adjacent to the greenhouses. And then we built another hoop house that we used for the last few years as a kids' hoop house. So we'd have field trips and local schools come in and just work on different projects. We had a high school group called Benzie Conserves, Inspires, and Adapts.
Okay.
They were part of the Benzie Conservation District, and they came in and made a hugelkultur mound.
What is that?
Well, I didn't know either. This is a mound of soil it buries wood and debris, so the composting is internal. And so as it breaks down inside the mound, the compost and nutrients are already inside it. And so this is a concept that one of the kids had, and he just kind of ran with it. He's off at University of Michigan now studying engineering and space. So it's neat to have the kids come out, give them a palette, just an open canvas to do some fun activities, and that was a piece of it, our kids' hoop house.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Do you have classes for the kids in addition to the field trips and individuals coming in?
Yeah, typically if we have a field trip come out or a summer camp, we'll have hands-on activities in the garden. So we get their hands dirty, we get them in the soil, do a little weeding. Sure. That lasts just a couple minutes. But if we can have some fresh strawberries or some fruit or some lettuce that they can taste, it makes it a little longer of an activity. But we get them up in our kitchen. Next to that big building, we have our big event center. Mm-hmm. And we have a commercial kitchen that we can host field trips, but primarily that's for business.
Okay.
So it's certified by the state. This is an incubator kitchen. The Department of Rural Ag and Development helped us build this kitchen in order to develop more food value added products in the region. Mm-hmm. So there's so much local agriculture, they thought it'd be a great idea for us to have a nice kitchen that we could make products, or locals could make products. And so we've had that for about 3 or 4 years now. We have multiple businesses that use it. One recently added business is Peninsula Pops.
Okay.
Peninsula Pops makes local popsicles from local ingredients, and you can have a raspberry or a cherry, strawberry, rhubarb, just some great popsicles that they make in that kitchen, but they can sell it at a store or at a farmer's market. I think they're in probably 6 farmers markets around northern Michigan now.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so it's a great space. The kitchen's just a lot of fun to be in because it's so big, stainless steel. It's 1,500 square feet. But we also host classes in there, and caterers use that as a commissary kitchen. And we received a grant recently from the Traverse City Rotary Charities to partner with Munson Healthcare. And that is to host cooking classes where folks can come in. It's a fruit and vegetable prescription program. So they come in, they learn about nutrition, and they also learn about culinary techniques that they can take home and apply from food that they buy at the farmer's market.
That's incredible.
So think about, I think yesterday we had cream of asparagus soup.
Okay.
So Chef Jim Barnes from Alberto Taqueria in Alberta, he came in and showed how to take the asparagus that you could buy out in the farmer's market right out the door, and how to take that home and make a new dish at home with your family.
How do people get involved with that program? That
Yeah, well,
incredible.
that's already full. That particular program is full, the vegetable and fruit program.
Okay.
We try to get out as much as possible in social media, local newspapers. Mm-hmm. We're doing a lot more video production, but there's just so much that's happening. It's really hard to communicate the story and all the different activities that are going on. So the best way to get involved is to either sign up for an email newsletter, or check our Facebook or subscribe to our YouTube channel or Instagram. The social media is probably the best way to know if you have the night off. Well, I can check Grow Benzie. There's probably something happening.
Probably something on that calendar.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. Okay, so that was a little bit about the commercial kitchen. Let's move on to the next part of property, because it seems as if it's endless. There's just so much that you offer.
Well, so adjacent to that is our big event center.
Okay.
And that was the big building that the Chippewa Farms, the previous business, had sold, kind of like a farmer's market, sold all their products. So we spent a lot of time applying for grants, doing fundraising to get that up to code and have that as an event space. And we've had 200 people in there celebrating. The big event was the football team from Benzie Central had their year-end spaghetti dinner that they had helped build. They had helped grow the tomatoes during the growing season, and then they celebrated their season in that space with all their parents and family, and they had marinara from the heirloom tomatoes that they helped grow.
Perfect.
Yeah, it was great closing the loop. It was great to see them stick with it through the summertime, and then reap. That was their motto for the season, was reap what they sow.
Talk about instilling life skills that these young individuals are going to be able to take with them throughout the rest of their lives.
Yeah, and when it comes to plants and gardening, there's a lot to be said about starting, prepping the soil, planting a seed, watching it, nurturing it, watering it. There's a lot of energy that goes into those plants. So to have those kids, whether they knew what they were doing coming in and weeding the garden to prep the garden or not, by the time they were serving the marinara sauce, they knew that work that they put in was coming back to them.
They had to be proud of it.
A lot of pride, yeah, a lot of pride and a lot of food. They ate a lot of food that night.
I'm sure.
Yeah, but going back to the life skills, is having them finish a job is something that we try to do with all the projects that we have at Grow Benzie. We have an after-school program called Hive Minded that we started 3 years ago, and that's another project related to local ecology, because we make bee boxes. And so these bee boxes we actually have at Grow Benzie. So next to that big building, if you go out back, you see now we have 6 beehives made from the bee boxes that we make in our after-school program. Again, it's just a life skill, knowing how to swing a hammer, how to cut with a saw. We do that every spring at Benzie Central. This year we had students from Frankfort and from Bear Lake come and participate. And those are skills that we're just exposing them to, hopefully building an interest in construction or other trade skills, and being able to have some different choices when they graduate from high school.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. What are some of the other programs that you have?
Well, so we have the fruit and vegetable prescription program, but we also offer, during our Monday Farmers Market, we offer food preserving classes.
Okay.
So last night was strawberries, freezing strawberries.
Sure.
Last week was pickling asparagus. And the great thing about having a big kitchen is we can have a great audience, diverse audience, come in and learn the basics of food preservation. Right. So we have all this great food during the growing season, but come winter time, it's hard to get a good strawberry or tomato. So we offer these classes for folks to come in and learn what they can do at home to be able to open that freezer up and have some fresh berries and make themselves a smoothie in February.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah, everybody loves the smoothies.
Absolutely.
So that's one of the classes. That after-school program, the Hive Minded program, we started offering different activities too. So we started working in the kitchen. We gave them opportunities to work besides on the bee boxes. They started making an arcade game. So imagine a classic arcade, the big Pac-Man game.
Sure.
Frogger. It was probably before your time, but we used to go to the arcade back in the day, and we'd be there all day with our quarters.
Right.
They made one of those arcade games that included their own computer that they made from learning about doing it online. So they're wrapping that up, and we're gonna be playing video games here with quarters come new school year.
Oh, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Very impressive. Very nice. Well, let's talk about you talked about the Beekeepers Guild. There's a fiber guild too.
Yes.
How about we touch base on that a little bit?
Yeah, so we picked up on Crosshatch Center for Art and Ecology, their concept of offering guilds to the community. And they have a Beekeepers Guild, they have a fiber guild. We picked up on that because being geographically separated, we thought there's enough people that are interested in bees or fiber or soil and compost that we could do the same thing in Benzie County. So we had a tea party for anybody interested in fiber last year.
Okay.
We had 30 people show up that were a pretty diverse audience, from quilting to knitting to sewing to crocheting.
Sure.
And we just wanted to be able to connect them more. From that, we started a knitting group that meets every Wednesday.
Okay.
We have the Benzie area spinners come in every couple of months. They use our space. They've been around for 30 years, and they spin their wool into yarn. And then we got a kickstart to our sewing studio, which we have in our studio house.
Okay.
With a program called Days for Girls. And a gal by the name of Kathy Ross started a program. It's an international program. She started a local chapter making feminine hygiene kits for girls overseas. And now she has 20 or 30 volunteers that participate making these packs to be sent. I think they've made 400 packs they've sent to Haiti, India, Malawi, just amazing. So connecting these fiber-related activities together, or the folks that make it happen, was a good thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's incredible.
Yeah, and it's life skills. So we've had the soccer team, Benzie soccer team come over, the volleyball team.
Okay.
They got to come over and help with some of these activities. So they got to learn about the sewing machines and hand stitching and making things from raw materials that turn into value-added products that are necessary and needed, not only around here but overseas.
Sure. Now, are some of those products that they're creating, do they sell them at the farmers market then too?
Well, there's been a couple ideas about making market bags.
Okay.
So that's one idea that's on the table that will be sold. There has been other bags that we sell at the farmers market in the sewing studio as a fundraiser. And then we just started a new program called My Fiber Shed. And this is a gal by the name of Emily Votruba who volunteers every 2 days a week to accept donations in exchange for fiber credits. And these fiber credits can be used to either purchase other fiber donations there on site or other products that we have at Grow Benzie. And what she's doing is she's recycling those fiber pieces and dividing them into the other enterprises that are going on, like Days for Girls.
That's so smart.
Yeah.
And very unique.
Yeah, unique. Well, we picked up on the fiber shed idea, similar to a watershed, by some folks out in Leelanau County. And so the idea of wherever the local fiber is, who's utilizing it rather than using the fast fiber coming in from overseas. So she started this space. We have a big barn, and she started using this space to start this kind of a recycling, upcycling program.
Oh gosh, there's so much happening on your 4 acres.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Is there anything that we haven't touched base on that's there?
Well,
I feel as if you could say yes and keep on going.
I could,
much.
absolutely. One of the exciting additions this season is an edible trail. And again, from Traverse City Rotary Charities and Health Services of Northwest Michigan, through two of these grants, we now have connected all of our learning stations around the property with an edible trail.
I love it.
Yeah, so think of showing up at Grow Benzie. You're greeted by a giant black locust gazebo built by the Seeds Youth Conservation Corps and Sacred Earth Landscaping. You see this big gazebo, just a magnet for like a social gathering. And you see on the side of it a big map of where to walk around the property. You see a little sticker that has bees, and then you see a rain garden, and then the butterfly garden, and all these spots along the way. And you're able to walk along the path and eat some strawberries, eat some blueberries as you go from place to place. And there's probably a 1/4 mile loop that you can go out and just sit on a bench and escape, or go out there and learn about local agriculture.
It's interactive, it's educational,
Absolutely.
it's entertaining.
It's food.
You're outside, it's food.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, and the great addition, besides being at the farmers market, will be for anybody that rents the space. So we've had a ton of baby showers this season. But retirement parties, all these events that happen at Grow Benzie, people can have their party, but also have a great space to go and hang out.
Sure.
So with the new additions to the whole property, we're hoping to continue creating a revenue stream for us to maintain and offset costs for the other programs.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. So let's talk about kind of heading off of your property. You have a food truck.
We do.
You have a food truck. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so we've always been happy to show people how to grow food on site, but we also understand the restrictions of being in a rural area. Mm-hmm. There's not always the accessibility, available to some people that are further out in Benzie or outlying counties. Mm-hmm. So we partner with Goodwill Industries and their My Fresh Start program, and we partner with them for the food truck that they purchased 3 years ago. And now we are able to go out to communities and here at our own farmers market and use the food that we grow in our gardens and ingredients that we buy from the market vendors and create some sweet food, sweet menu items. Got some gourmet grilled cheese that had our local mushrooms and asparagus, some local tacos. We have grass-fed beef every time we have beef served. We had 2 pigs donated last year from the 4-H that we purchased. So we just try to connect this local food, healthful food, out in the community. So you'll see us at Calava Days. You'll see us Bear Lake Days.
Okay.
A lot of local events have hired us to come out. We were just at Spirit of the Woods and Brethren.
Okay.
And we got to show off all the food that we grow and make some happy faces while they watch the music.
Absolutely. Gosh, it all sounds so delicious. You're making me hungry.
Yeah, it's good. We got a great chef. That's an incubator model too. So, we have the incubator kitchen, but one thing we've been priding ourselves on is really kickstarting some of these local businesses in addition to the kitchen. So our farmer is an apprentice farmer. She's using our space to grow food, but we've also provided her a market. There's local restaurants that are purchasing from her. So what she's looking to do is save money and start her own farm.
Right.
And the same thing with our food truck manager. So he's bought his own food trailer, but we're giving him the food truck. We help him with some of the upfront costs, and then we share the profit at the end of the season. So we're really kind of kickstarting all these food-related businesses under the umbrella of Grow Benzie.
It's a win-win.
Win-win-win.
Win-win-win.
Yeah.
How many people would you estimate are involved with Grow Benzie? From the volunteers to the business startups?
Oh boy, dozens. Dozens, yeah. At this point, we have a lot of strong leadership in the different areas. So when it comes to the farmers market, we have Lisa Richter, who has experience in farmers markets, but she's also really passionate about local farms. Mm-hmm. And so she's really taken our market to the next level on helping the individual farmers market their products and promote, outside the market.
Okay.
So just a strong skill set for that one person. But I could name off every person that's related to Grow Benzie has provided just a platform for them to promote themselves and use what they're strongest at. Whatever their skills are, we try to light that sparkler and let them just run with it.
Absolutely. So you mentioned social media before, how that's a great avenue to discover and spark someone's interest in everything that you're doing. Are there some more direct ways that they can get in touch with you to get involved?
Sure. Yeah. So we have a big event, our annual fundraiser coming up on July 7th called Bayou in the Barn. And the great thing about this is it's 2 of our fundraisers combined into one this year. For the last 8 years, we've had our garden party at Grow Benzie. In the last 2 years, we've had a party down in Frankfurt, right on the bay, a Blues and Zydeco Festival.
Perfect.
This year, we're going to have it at St. Ambrose Cellars on July 7th. It's a Friday night. We have 2 Grammy Award winners coming in, one from Louisiana, Chubby Carrier, another Mad Cat Ruth from downstate Michigan, and then, of course, Kay Jones and the Benzie Playboys, which everybody loves. And so that is, that's the big way that we make money for the year. Mm-hmm. But we can take on all sorts of volunteers for that event, from serving food to helping with our live or silent auction or selling merchandise. But the best way to connect, I think, would be to come out to the farmers market on Monday. A lot of our team is there in their different capacities. They can just enjoy some time in the courtyard. It's nice and shady. we got some music going on. They can have some food from the food truck, but they can see what's going on at Grow Benzie. And if they, some people don't want to be totally engaged with all these people. They just want to help grow food. Well, we can do that. We've got a space in the, out in the garden where they can put their headphones on and just listen to some music and work in the garden. Or they can come out and serve food or be a greeter or do tours. There's so many different things that we do at Grow Benzie. There's a lot of opportunities. So if volunteers or people interested in helping out with Grow Benzie and these community programs, they can come out and just see it for themselves and plug in where they feel comfortable.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, as we close up our discussion here, is there anything that you want our viewers to know about that we haven't touched base on today?
Well, I would say take pride in this community. With so much happening in the news, and some of it can be pretty heavy and negative. There are plenty of opportunities. I think Grow Benzie is a great, we're in a great position, as a hub between multiple counties that people can come and see all the great things that are happening, but also be inspired, because these ideas that are coming to fruition, there are people actually following through with it. We're affecting youth, seniors, everybody, in between. So there's a lot of good news out there, and I think Grow Benzie is a great place to see that happen.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Josh, for being with us and sharing with us all the amazing things that Grow Benzie is doing out in Benzie County and our surrounding counties here in northern Michigan.
I'll see you on a Monday, 3 to 7. We'll see you out there sometime at Farmers Market.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Well, I'm Courtney Jerome. Thank you so much for watching on behalf of all of us here at Up North TV. We hope that you'll join us again on Fresh Perspectives.